I'm Mark Goodale, principal of Morrissey Goodale, with this edition of Engineering Inc.'s M&A Takeaway. With over 19 million people, New York is the third most populous state in the country. Its combination of sheer size, economic activity, and unique engineering challenges might lead you to believe New York is one of the most active states for mergers and acquisitions in the engineering industry. Yet it lags more states in deal activity than you might think. In 2013, we observed only 9 industry deals where a New York-based firm was either merged or acquired. That puts New York behind California, Texas, Florida, Colorado, and Pennsylvania, and only slightly ahead of Georgia, Maryland, Minnesota, and Missouri in terms of deal activity. Moreover, we've tracked just one deal involving a New York-based seller through the end of this June. Engineering firms seem to be focused on states that appear to have a more business-friendly environment, like Texas, for example, or states that are experiencing significant population growth, like Florida. In fact, projections anticipate Florida will soon surpass New York to become the third most populous, behind California and Texas. The South and West is where engineering-related M&A action is the hottest. Why not New York? First, perceived cultural challenges may play a role. New York can appear intimidating to folks who run their businesses and live their lives at a relatively moderate pace. Firms inexperienced in working in New York may be hesitant to jump into this highly competitive region with both feet. But the bigger issue is New York's unique requirements for providing professional engineering services. They are among the most restrictive in the country. In New York, only certain types of entities can legally practice engineering in the state. There are, however, multiple ways to structure a corporation so that the company is compliant with all of the state's licensing laws and regulations. One possible solution is through an acquisition of what's referred to as a grandfathered corporation. These firms can provide engineering and architecture services in New York even when some of the shareholders are not engineers or architects. Here's the problem. There are only about 100 of them. What makes them special is that they were incorporated or qualified to do business in New York on or before April 15, 1935, and given their rarity, they don't come cheap. A similar exception exists for a finite number of grandfathered architecture corporations incorporated or qualified to do business in New York on or before April 12, 1939. Even fewer grandfathered corporations exist with dual permissions to practice both engineering and architecture. An engineering firm that acquires a grandfathered corporation as a subsidiary can change the name of the grandfathered corporation and have that subsidiary provide the associated professional services. The portion of the entity that remains grandfathered does not have the requirements that their shareholders, directors, or officers, except for the CEOs, be engineers or architects. More recently, Section 1503 of the New York Business Corporation Law was amended to permit the incorporation of design professional service corporations in which non-professionals may own less than 25% of the shares and may constitute less than 25% of director and officer positions. The shareholders of a design professional corporation, or DPS, may include employee stock ownership plans, or ESOPs, and employees of the corporation who are not licensed as design professionals, provided that greater than 75% of the outstanding shares of stock in the corporation are owned by design professionals. An ESOP may not constitute greater than 75% ownership. Greater than 75% of the directors are design professionals. Greater than 75% of the officers are design professionals. The president, the chairperson of the board, and directors, and the chief executive officer are design professionals. And finally, the single largest shareholder is either a design professional or an ESOP with greater than 75% of the plan's voting trustees being design professionals and greater than 75% of the plan's committee members being design professionals. In any event, if your firm is seeking to take a bite out of the Big Apple via merger or acquisition, seek advice from legal counsel to ensure you are able to practice legally once the deal is complete. For more information on this and other merger and acquisition related inquiries, call us at 508-650-0040 or send me an email at mgoodale@morrisseygoodale.com. From Morrissey Goodale's Boston headquarters, I'm Mark Goodale for Engineering Inc.'s M&A Takeaway.